Welcome. This is the third video in the series where I'm basically trying to do some optimizations with Drupal 7 and running it on a virtual machine and seeing what difference some optimizations can make. And in this video, what I'll be doing is actually testing some of the changes or the sort of performance settings you can change and see how they actually affect how the site is viewed by a tool called Yellow Lab Tools, which actually gives the site a rating, and also the developer tools which are in Chromium. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is to get the Yellow Lab Tools running. And so all this basically is just a virtual machine that I've set up. And actually I'll even put a link to an image of this so you can give it a try yourself. But the best thing about this is the fact that you can use it to test your websites from in your local network. Okay, first thing I need to do is find out what IP address it has been given by DHCP. Okay. So then if I go to that address, okay, and you notice it runs on port 8383. So there we have our test, basically our test site that we can use to see how the website is doing. So the other thing I've done is, as per usual, I have a list of the commands I'm going to use, and you can find that if you go to my website and then go to applications used, and then if you select the Drupal 7 website testing with Yellow Lab Tools and Chromium, and in there you will have a list of the commands that I'm going to use. Okay, so next thing is to get the site up and running. Okay, and then just connect with the shell because it's just easier to enter the commands over SSH rather than trying to type them manually into the actual virtual machine itself. Okay, first thing I have to do is I didn't enable the services properly previously, so I have to disable the old patching and then enable the new 2.4 and also the PHP FPM as well. Okay, and you could just restart them, but it's easier just giving it a quick reboot. Okay, so the next thing to do is to give it a although actually first thing I'm going to do before I do that is I have to actually go into the site and actually disable at the moment we have them enabled, so it would give a you have to save the settings on each page. I suppose that's typical. Okay, so the only thing that's enabled is the cache. So the site should still be running reasonably fast. But if we go into the Yellow Lab tools now, and then we try to test the site, it gets a D, which is 34 out of 100. You can see there, it seems to feel the site is quite atrocious at the moment. So let's see if we can go from a D of 34 to anything a bit better. And also if we give it a quick test in Chromium, so we just check the developer tools. And now, obviously, the load time is quite quick because it's a local network. But in order to make it a bit more of a challenge, we can change it to just regular 3G. And what we should find there is that things are a lot slower. So it took 5.7 seconds for the DOM, and then 7 total time. So that's obviously quite slow for a website. And just a quick do it once more just to see it's consistent. Okay, and you notice it's got the background pictures missing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it a bit out of order, because I've fixed that problem later on. I think I'll actually fix it now just to see what difference it makes. Okay, so that file should be fixed now, so let's see. Okay, so now, because the file's there now, it takes even longer. So basically 8.5 seconds total time, and the page is readable in 5.7 seconds. That's over 3G. So let's see if we can speed that up. Okay, so if we compress the pages and aggregate and compress CSS, okay, yeah, so DOM's quicker, so the page seems like a second quicker, yeah. So by doing that, we've gained a second over 3G, which is, it might not seem like that much, but it's something at least. Now if we aggregate the JavaScript, okay, see, so now aggregating the JavaScript, now our DOM is loading in 1.8 seconds, and the load of the whole page is 4.6. So imagine someone coming to your website and 1 minute is 5 seconds, next minute it's 1.8. I think that's a big difference, and so obviously at the very least these are worth turning on. And I have to admit, in my testing, these are the settings that actually did the most to speed things up. So okay, so with those settings on now, if we go back to the Yellow Lab tools, and then we run the test again. Ooh, see, now we've gone from a D to a B just by clicking 3 buttons. So this obviously shows that this is something that even these small settings, if you forget them, it can make that much of a difference to the people that visit your site. So admittedly, those 3 options that I selected there, they are the main ones when it comes to a speed boost. So admittedly, so far, it's difficult to sort of get these other settings to actually do that much, but hey, we give it a try anyway. So let's just double check. Yeah, so it's about the same. Okay, so we enable the advanced aggregation. We might as well turn the cache on as well. Okay, so let's see if that makes any difference. Okay, yeah, see, still mostly the same. So basically, once you get that main boost, I can only presume is if your website is more complicated, that's when these settings will make a difference. But what I'll do anyway is I'll go through the other settings anyway, just so you can see what difference they make. So if you try the file compressor, then an inline as well. This is for the CSS. Yeah. Seems to have slowed it down. Okay. Admittedly, that is strange. So that's why you have to do these kinds of testing. Because some of these settings, you might turn them on and find that things actually get worse. Yeah, it definitely doesn't like me. Well, it seems like something's happened to cause the site to just slow down. Okay. Seems like stuff like this can happen sometimes. Okay, and then the other options we have is, so it seems like that didn't really make much. Alright, so we leave those turned on. So the next thing we can try is to compress the JavaScript. And so if you use the quickest one, well, I have to admit, I'm not sure why this is happening, but okay. It seems it's just suddenly lost speed for, I'm not sure the reason why. Okay, but anyway, what we'll do is see if that's made any difference to the Yellow Lab tools. So we had 78 there previously, and so when we turn those settings on, Okay, still 78, so nothing much has changed there. So seems the only real thing we can do next is basically the HTTP. So okay, so what I'll do is I'll go and move on to the next part. So what I'm just going to do is just install the JS min again, and because we're on the PHP FPM, it's a different PHP, so it hasn't been installed yet. So we just need to use that development environment. Okay, so that's been installed, so now we just have to add an ini file. And just restart the service. And so what we should find is when we go into the JS compression, if we reload, then JS min seat module version is now available. Not sure if that's going to make any difference, but okay, yeah, it doesn't seem to. Okay, let's try. It seems like it's I think what's happened is the web fonts are slower now. So that seems to be could be the reason why it's actually slower. Let's just see if that makes a change to the. Okay, yeah, so you see how it's the early stuff, that's where the real gains are. So the only thing that's really left now is just to get those last two things it's asking for. And the way we do that, first of all, we have to okay, and first we have to enable SSL in the Apache 2.4. So basically we have to create a configuration file for it. and then just put this information into the file. And one thing about there's one thing about this is that you have to, once you put these settings, it's usually a good thing to just check that the settings are actually okay, that you haven't mistyped it, so that when you restart Apache, actually you know it's going to work. Okay, so now what we should find is that if we now go to the site, and actually connect it, because basically the HTTP2, it doesn't actually work over HTTP, so I almost feel that Google had something to do with that. So basically, to get HTTP 2, you have to connect as HTTPS. So if you go into Yellow Lab Tools and then put the new, just put the new link in with HTTPS at the front. Okay, so now we've got 84. So we've gone from a D, which of course is very bad, to now 84. And look how clean the site seems to be, only 26 requests as well. And it seems like it likes the image this time for some reason. So there we are, 84 out of 100. But there's still one more we can do, which is an easy one, of course, is the jQuery. So let's see if we can get one last point. Basically just install this last module. So we just got to enable it. Yeah, I think these web fonts, that's one you have to watch out. I think that's why it has slowed down. But anyway, so now we've enabled jQuery. Let's give it one last test. And there you have it. So we gained 1 point. And that's pretty much it, because the rest of the problem is mainly this theme, because it uses web fonts. And it's got that CSS syntax error, but it's not actually an error, it's just a bug with the Yellow Lab tools. And of course, you see it's complaining about the web fonts, but that's that is according to the theme. So if you can get a theme which doesn't use web fonts, then that will help the speed of your site, it seems, as well. And of course we've got the HTTP2 now because we're using the SSL to connect. Okay, so that's what I've managed so far. Just give it a quick test on here again. Actually, that seems so slow. Yes, these fonts, they're too slow. So, well, I'll just give it a test with HTTPS. Okay, and just to show that it really is just the loading, basically if I enable the cache, you'll be able to see the okay. It seems to be JavaScript. Seems like well, anyway, JavaScript's loaded, so if you do F5 again, yeah, it seems there's something, because even with the cache on, oh, but I'll put it on, oh, it went to 2G, that explains. I'm not sure when that changed. Oh, okay. But anyway, I could be here forever trying to work out why the speeds have changed, etc. But since I wasn't watching this part at the top, so if you look up there and see the point at which it changed, because I have to admit I never noticed when that happened. But anyway, hopefully this video has been some sort of help to show different ways in which you can sort of speed up your website, but also the tools you can use as well to test it, and especially this Yellow Lab tools, because it's very good for when you've got your own local website that you want to test. And even, yeah, it might not be as good as some of the fancy ones out there, but they don't work on your internal website, and this one does. So that's the main advantage with using this. Okay, thanks for watching, and you can subscribe if you want to see any more videos that I come out with, which could be similar to this as well. Okay, bye.